It's well documented that the less restrictive a state's gun laws, the higher the rate of mass shootings. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't stop there. Our country's failure to properly regulate firearms leads to far too many deaths that could have been prevented if a gun weren't accessible.
Amen.
For example, suicide. Most people who attempt suicide do not die unless they use a gun. And men represent 87% of firearm suicide victims. They're nearly 7 times more likely than women to die by firearm suicide. Another example is intimate partner homicide. 70 women are shot and killed by an intimate partner every month in this country. And access to a gun makes it 5 times more likely that an abuser will kill their female victim. Certainly, we should do more to improve access to mental health care, but our country's lax laws on guns is hurting people, and the U.S. government can and should take action.
Amen. Now let's clear up a few things. That does not make us gun grabbers. That does not mean I want to abolish the Second Amendment or confiscate your guns. Quite the opposite. I want you, as a safe, responsible, and sane American, to be able to own and even carry guns if that's how you see fit. If you're not a danger to yourself or others, then I have no problem with you owning guns. I have no problem with you carrying guns. I have no problem with you owning thousands of guns and having hundreds of thousands of rounds of ammunition. I think it's slightly fucking psychotic, but your right to do. There can be common sense gun legislation. The right thinks any gun legislation is too much. I don't understand why expanding background checks to include every possible gun sale that we can capture is an affront. Why should I have my son or my nephew run through a background check for me to sell him a rifle? Because we should know who's buying guns. You want to know who's buying guns in the city, right? I want to know who's buying guns in the country. We should expand background checks to every sale, including person-to-person sales. That would help eliminate the gun show loophole, where a vast majority of Chicagoland's guns come from. Guns that are used in crimes in Chicagoland. We can expand the background checks. We can figure out a way as a society to include our mental health evaluations, our mental health records, as part of the background check system. We can say that people who own guns must submit to annual mental health evaluations and continue training on their gun on a periodic basis. And I'm in favor of making all of that free of charge. I do not want a financial barrier between you and your right to exercise your Second Amendment, which is why I'm opposed to any form of taxation on guns. No federal sales tax, no state sales tax, no county income tax, no local income tax, no governmental tax on guns. That is a financial barrier between me and my Second Amendment. Also, we can legislate, as we do with vehicles. With vehicles, we legislate safety standards. Why can't we do that with guns? It doesn't say you can't own a gun. It says that the gun has to have a certain level of safety adhered to it. Biometric safety measures, where the gun only operates if your palm is on the trigger or on the handle. Why is that such an affront to people? And then last but not least, a gun registry. That one's going to piss some people off. No, a gun registry does not mean they're coming to take your guns. Stop it.